Believe we are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you eternally for joining me again on another conscious evolution. Today, we're going to talk about value. About value. What is valuable? What is valuable? Seriously. It's a topic technically I want to say inspired slash suggested by Joy Vive, already in chat with us. Shan and Joy and Jovan, sending you so much love. And what do we value? What do we value if not love? All right. Yesterday, tripping out about you friends appreciating this space, finding value in this space. I closed my eyes and looked into the mind and saw a flower sprouting, opening up. And as soon as it was open, a bee came along and did his little dance, and then left. And I remember, asking, is it going to be more valuable if we throw money at that situation? We throw money at the bee, throw money at the flower? No, not necessarily. And yet there is value in a bee pollinating a flower, right? Maybe not the same value we have suggested into the conscious minds of our civilization, right? The fact that your only value is how much number you make. But there is value in the same way as a bee pollinates a flower and the things that you can do day to day as well. You can be both bee and flower to yourself. Hello, Iver. Yeah, right. There's so many ways. Okay, I'm gonna open the comments, get into the space with you friends. I took a little bit of mushrooms, 0.55 grams. So technically a microdose, but enough to feel it, enough to feel emotional. I smoked some weed last night. And, since we're in this topic of value, I did it. I had a headache, as I shared with you friends yesterday. Added some of Shan's Panaway oil to my temples. Headache went away. Ate some sugar. Then there was some weirdness on the farm where there were people with flashlights and, stuff with the cows. And there was just this, like, I don't know, a grunginess, like, happening in my psyche. And I ended up smoking some weed to see if that's going to help anything. And then I did. And I just sat there with it. And the only thing that changed is now I could be with that energy in what seemed like slow motion, where the energy wasn't necessarily different. I just had more room to consider it. And I realized that even though that can be valuable, it's not what I need right now. Like I don't know anything. I really don't. All I know is that I appreciate you, friends. Shell joining us. I was thinking about you this morning. I was writing about rewiring my brain. How it has been a process of me having to rewire my own brain, rewire my attachment to certain things. What do I value, right? What do I value? Asking that question. What do I value? What do I value? What do I value? I value you, friends. Yes, exactly. Joy Vive. I value you, dear friend. Thank you so much for echoing the love. Ash Rock is here too. Sending you good vibes. I'm sorry, what? There were people with flashlights and weird stuff with cows. Yeah, I don't like that. Sounds when you say it like that, sounds so weird, right? But there is cattle theft in South Africa, where people steal your things. That does happen. And there was some weirdness on the farm with stuff like that yesterday. There were people in trucks at the gate at like 11 p.m. And then oh goodness, I cannot switch off when I'm in that state of mind So I thought, oh, I'm gonna smoke some weed. Maybe that's gonna help, surely. And then it didn't. Oh, it very much didn't help. It was just like, oh yeah, now you have all of these stuff, all of these, all of these things to consider, plus being high on weed. And I was like, oh, cool, swell. I did dance yesterday though. I ended up dancing a lot, and I made like 12 YouTube shorts, and I have them scheduled up until like the 6th of June. And I was proud of myself for doing that. And that kind of allowed me to reward myself with sugar. Like my mom ended up like buying a bunch of fruit. And as I told you, friends, like I do have a problem when it comes to citrus. So I ate an absurd amount of citrus. Oh goodness. Like I imagine myself looking mostly like a monster, from the oranges side. It's like, oh no, he's back. Oh no, please have no, no, sweet oranges. I'm coming. Yeah. I'm I'm trying to get better. I am trying to get better. And being able to admit to you friends when I'm not great, is a part of what I value of this space, that I don't have to be something I'm not, right? And that something I'm not is perfect. I'm not perfect. Oh, I'm so far from it. Hey, brother Ryan, good Sunday to you, dear friend. It's so nice having you. I've been thinking about you a lot as of late, brother Bear. Thinking about this opportunity you've given me to teach yoga. It has changed me. I've been I've been exposing myself to the most lighthearted energy I can while I can. And the thing that's been calling to me is the amazing adventures, the amazing world of Gumball. And there's this scene where this yogic cloud and is doing these breathwork exercises, and then his breathwork exercise inducer glitches, and it's like, and breathe out, and breathe out, and breathe out, and breathe out, and he keeps breathing out, and he shrinks, and he shrivels up, and then he goes inverted, and he gets a new body. And then the person on the radio goes, there you go. Yoga is a type of rebirth. Enjoy your new body. And it kind of messed me up. It's been basically a year. Yeah, it's been about a year. 18th of May last year was when I became officially certified to be a yoga teacher. And my body has changed with me. My mind has changed. My understanding about the value I'm supposed to provide has changed along with it. Still the same. Still the same. Still going in the same direction, but more and more aware, I guess. Oh goodness. Let me see. Aliens, Joy Vive. Weed shit at night with cows is always aliens. Weird shit at night, always aliens. It might have been. It might have actually been aliens. Who knows? I love the palindrome. It is 878 right now. Kristen is here too. So much love to you. Corey, even. Our beloved Nanner. Sending you lovin's. Let me read some more of the comments. How do you steal a cow? Yeah, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it is worth it, right? Financially, if you can manage it. I also did a mushroom, 1 gram, and then cleaning, and then parkour, stretching routine, then my dance and run on the treadmill. The mush make me want to exert myself. Me too, weirdly enough, Shell. The mushrooms also make me want to exert myself. And I just did some yoga, and I tried to exert myself as much as I possibly could with that practice that we did. And now it's like, oh wait, dude, you have exerted yourself, at least partially, physically. Now we're going to exert ourselves emotionally. It's like, yeah, do the work, go. Do the work, go do the work. What is valuable to you, right? Wouldn't you need some sort of heavy equipment to steal cows? No, you just need like a truck and a few people basically. I ate two caracaras. They sound nice. I got me some oranges today. Nice. I love the color. Time to hydrate. Please do drink water. They really are super pretty. I'm stoked to eat what later today. Sounds nice. There is certainly an orange fractal happening. I myself have some grapes and bananas. Enjoy. Lol, invert to a new body. It was like that scene was like straight up scarring. Like I think William literally was like, okay, I think I have to bleach my eyeballs after seeing that. Again, Kristen, so much love to you, dear friend. We need to chat, brother. You deserve so much more. I love Gumball. I'm going to check out that scene and show my anti-yoga kids too. Like they might end up being even more anti-yoga. It's the thing, dude. Like that scene was straight up like they didn't make it look appealing. They made it look kind of painful to yoga yourself into a new being. And it is sometimes, you know, most of the time. Like yoga isn't necessarily something that's always going to be fun. It's a puts on yogic cap way of life after all. It really is. Like it's a yoga is supposed to mean union, right? To unite, to become a part of yourself, mind, body, and spirit, this world. Thank you, Brother Bear. More will come. I know this, right? I do know this. I understand it intrinsically. And for me, fortunately, I also believe that the soul of yoga deserves more as well. Like it's a matter of mutual sacrifice, the way I think of it. Like you did have to go out on a limb, to support me the way you did. And I'm more than willing to pay that, not from a sense of being indebted, but from a sense of being united, right? Building towards something. Maxine is here as well with us. So much love to you. Love the palindrome. Lovin's Lovins. Congratulations on a year's work, Mel. Thank you, Shell. Even though I've been doing work this whole year, it's still like I'm holding on. Like there's a part of me that is convinced of lack, you know. And I feel like that's the part of me that remains fat. Is that weird to say? It's like the part of me that consumes excessively is the part of me that believes I don't have enough. And I keep gaining more and more evidence that I am. And I have to remind myself. I feel like that's the thing as well. Like affirmations work. They do. Affirm to yourself that you are enough. You are, just as you are, enough. Perfect as you are. Made the way you ought to be. So that you can be who you ought to be. This world needs you as you are, dear friend. You are what's valuable. Not how much money you make. Not your quality of skin. You are what's valuable. Oh, we're going cow stealing. I'll help move them. Brother Duck Dad, love you, dude. It's nice having you. How are you doing, Corey? How's little Fruit Cup doing? She's probably becoming a being, no longer just a bundle of goo. Now actually like a conscious entity, being like, holy shit, I'm alive. Consciousness switched on. I also ate some low vibrational food yesterday, Melty. My body started pushing me in the middle of the night for my transgressions, and my stomach still isn't right this morning. I woke up feeling like ass, Joy. I woke up feeling like, I committed a crime. Like I was like, eating sugar isn't good for me, clearly. And yet it tastes so good. Oh, wow. It tastes so lekker. And then the next day, "Oh, and then I like, yeah, I'll never do that ever again, I say to myself. And then I get more and more lean, and then my body gets hungry, and then it's like, yeah, some sugar would be pretty nice right now. And then I'm like, yes, you you're making some compelling points right now. I'm happy to hear that you're also learning, right? I feel like, and I wrote this in my journal today, based on these feelings, Joy, that even though we know what we're doing is a mistake, right? Like doing that, eating low vibrational food is a mistake. It isn't a mistake in hindsight. It is you trying to learn a lesson. You showing yourself in the most tangible way, right? Like the difficult part of the lesson. And then you're like, oh yeah, this doesn't feel great. But then we forget. We're so forgetful with the lessons we learned. We have to keep learning them over and over again sometimes. The way I think of it is balance again, right? And balance that is technically imbalanced, where it's like going multiple days, weeks even at a time without actually diving into low vibrational food, and then having a day where we do, and then feeling, oh yeah, this sucks, and then going back into the state of being where we don't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, even though I'm not making any sense. It's a process, and we're getting through it. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I hope my tummy feels better. Weirdly enough, Shan, and of course, I was like holding you in my mind as I was going through this experience of like, I punished my own body. I took some Daijais. I think that's the way I'm supposed to say it, and added a circle around my tummy, and I could clearly see the line of the oil. And then I made these symbols in the middle of the circle. I'm sending you some of those good vibes as well, dear Joy Vive. Hope your tummy feels better soon. Thank you for the lovin's. Fruit Cup is hangry at the moment, lol. But she loves being outside. Of course she does. Of course she does. Look at it. Look at all of that outside, right? The fact that if you look out up into the sky, you're exposing yourself to more information than you can ever handle. And yet you do. You handle it like, oh wait, infinity right in front of me, piercing into my being. Duckling turns 4 on June 7th. Business is slowing down, so now it's time to get the birthday fun ready for her. June 7th, my sister's birthday is on June 9th. So they almost share a birthday. How about that, Duck Dad? This year's cake is gonna be duck cake. From the Bluey episode, Duck Cake. Dude, I'm happy that you're showing your kids Bluey. What a beautiful show. Corey, how old is Fruit Cup? I'm guessing she turns 4, from what I read in that chat. What flavor is that? Weird thing about the gut talk. I went from low caloric intake to a bunch of junk food last week and spent the weekend bloated. Yeah, right. Because, and I was like listening to this Ram Dass lecture. It's a new after school video where they animated one of Ram Dass's lectures. And he talks about the cycle of addiction, how this addiction can be a part of your spiritual journey where you try and feel something, even if that something is on a physical level, your stomach, it creates this sensation, this prompt of like, oh, do this thing that works to make you feel something, and then you do it. And then after you do it, you realize what you've done, and then it causes a sense of shame, and that sense of shame causes a sense of, I shouldn't be doing this. And then your body processes, and then you get hungry again. And then it allows for that whole cycle to start all over again. And being able to take things to their completion, is advice as well. When you feel this craving arise, to be like, okay, so what's going to happen? For instance, maybe I want to eat fast food, want to order something from McDonald's or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I buy the food arrives, I eat it. I probably enjoy eating it while it's in my hands. Afterwards, I feel horrible about it. My body feels like it goes into this. Do I want to feel that way? No, not really. So, cutting it from that point, almost like you're preemptively, you let yourself suffer the suffering mentally, right? And we shared this as a whole stream topic one day, that your thoughts are there to die so that you don't have to, right? For instance, when we're like on a high building, looking down 40 stories, and we have this flash of a thought of us throwing ourselves off of it and splatting on the ground, and we're like, huh, yeah, I don't want to do that, right? So that almost like fractal of yourself got to die so that you don't have to, right? And we should learn how to be okay with that, to let thoughts die, to let thoughts be there so that they can die, so that you don't have to not identify, to not place so much value, right, on our thoughts necessarily, because that's a big thing, right? Like we can, from an egotistical perspective, value our thoughts a lot, for so much even, and it's not necessarily always founded, right? Not saying that your thoughts are not supposed to be listened to, but saying that your thoughts might be just a perspective in this moment, right? Whatever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing, leading to that feeling. But if it's taken to its extreme as well, it just continues going, right? It bleeds into itself, bleeds into itself, bleeds into itself, bleeds into itself, and you can get so stuck in that thought, believing that that's valuable. Oh, what I'm thinking right now is what's valuable. No, you can shift that story, and I believe again that's where your power lies. But you aren't your thoughts, dear friend. You're not your body. You're not your occupation. Hey, John is here. You're not anything of this physical realm. You are that which is aware, the one paying attention, actively paying attention, always, infinitely, unchangingly paying attention. Oh, the fruit cup, weird talk, been eating really well, nice, and binged. I have been eating really well and also binged on junk food last night, and I too feel icky. Holiday weekend mindset, maybe. Same for me, right? For me, it was the fact that I did work. I was like, yeah, I did a bunch of work. Uh, Good for me. It's okay that I now do this thing to myself. And then we get to like on the other side, have this perspective. And this is what's beautiful to me about this space, right? If I wanted to pretend that I'm perfect, I wouldn't say anything because I am embarrassed, right? That's the joke. I am 100% embarrassed that I'm still not past this same old bullshit. I was still, I've been working on it for so long, for like decades, literally, and I'm still not past it. And then I can be like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep all of this to myself and pretend, that I'm infallible. I can't make mistakes. And then, that will lead to, I believe, even on a subconscious level, to you friends feeling like something is hidden and being able to come into the space and melt more, let all of the layers fall away and kind of like expose our cores to one another, we can notice that there are common themes. And the fact that so many of us, right, even if it's just me, Kristen, and Natalie and Joy Vive, right, even if it's just us right now, who kind of like went into this fractal of not treating ourselves as well as we know we are worth, getting to have this synchrony, getting to have this moment where we're like, yeah, that's not who I want to be, right? I don't want to be someone who is in a state of need, right? Feeling like I need to feed this demon because that demon does not stop eating, right? That's the joke. It does not stop eating. It will continue eating indefinitely. It will eat you to death. It will straight up eat you to death. And we're here to live. We're not here to die. We're gonna die, surely, but that's not what we're here for, right? That's just a part of the experience, right? Like the cherry on the cake. We're like eating our cake, metaphorically speaking. It's okay to eat cake every now and then, right? But eating cake, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's not the yeah. Okay, I'll put this fractal down. Let me see. Let me see what your friends are saying. I used to love corn dogs, Joy, but they don't love me. I've never had churros though. Churros are amazing, like really good. That kan heel zeker cinnamon, sugary, deep fried dough. Yeah, there's nothing to complain about. I've never had churros. You've never had churros as well? How about that? I've had churros in South Africa. I don't even think it's like a local food, but still, they're worth a bit of discomfort. I feel like the biggest thing is, and like this is the thing that's weird to me, where if I start with eating junk food, it's not enough to just eat a little bit of it, right? Like if you ate a 1 unit of churro, right? You can enjoy the experience of eating this churro, and it can be enough. It is enough. But then there's for some reason this part of my mind that's like, well, look at you, you fucker. You ate a churro. You might as well eat 7 other things as well. You know what? Why don't you get yourself so many other things that you literally do not have enough hands to carry all of the things you want to be eating to wherever it is you're going to eat it, right? And like that's the part that bothers me. It's like how can we figure out how to allow ourselves these treats, right? These indulgences, but to allow them as like a unit, like eat them in units, like eat one of the indulgence, eat one slice of cake, right? And then leave it at that. Not eat one slice of cake and a pack of chips and 5 apples and 7 oranges and all at the same time, because that spikes your insulin to the point where it literally destroys some of your cells. Literally, your mitochondria end up exploding. You're like, oh, Melt, you're being dramatic. I'm a little bit, but essentially that is what's happening. Bluey is amazing, absolutely. So worth. Show your kids Bluey. Like, show yourself Bluey. Like, there's so much beauty to be learned from those beautiful parents. It's Corey's birthday to my calendar. Wait a second. June, birthday for the win. June 21st here. How about that? Also coming up soon. I sense many large buttons in your future, Shan. I'm not sure what that means. Large buttons. Like I'm imagining buttons, right? For one, or like buttons. And then seeing either of them large, I'm like, do they have to be? I'm sorry, I'm confused. Caroline themed, doing the momming right. Absolutely. Oh yeah, she eats like a hobbit. Breakfast, second breakfast, brunch, snack, lunch, second lunch and dinner, then a snack a bit later, and a bottle of milk before bed. Corey, like this is a weird fractal, and I'm not saying this is the way it is. This is just what's coming up in my mind as I'm reading those words. Another one of the quotes, from that after school video where they animated one of Ram Dass's lectures. He was talking about how, as a child, as a baby, even, when we're in this state of like upset or this state of discomfort, our parents could end up feeding us, So from a very young age, from like infant age, we got conditioned to believing when you're in the state of discomfort emotionally, you should be eating, right? Like that's what you're supposed to be doing, because surely this is how you've been shown. That's how you deal with this energy. Oh, you're feeling too many things? Here, eat something. Right? When that isn't necessarily always the case, it allows you to diverge, right? It allows you to be like, oh, feeling all of the things, right? You're good. So much stuff to feel. Also, feeling the sweetness of this fruit I'm eating, etc., etc. Right? It allows you a distraction in a moment. But then, as soon as that distraction dissipates, you either have to continue distracting yourself, right? Go back and eat more things, or you have to actually deal with what is causing you discomfort in the first place. And then the joke is the thing causing us discomfort can end up being our weight, our appearance, our addictions, right, to the food itself. And then instead of dealing with our weight, instead of dealing with our food addictions, instead of dealing with our appearance, we end up eating, kind of like feeding back into the same problem that we're trying to avoid by eating, feeding into, right? It becomes such a destructive cycle so quickly. And I would like to believe that I am making progress, slowly but surely, like chipping away. But it feels like every chip I take, there's like another scoop added on top of it to keep it food relevant. Oh goodness, Corey, I want to make separate wish bluey cake. Oh my goodness, the stream only just started working for me. Fake and tech. I'm sorry, Kristen. Sending you lovin's. Right, that's the joke of this technology. We love it so much, and then if it doesn't work, it can cause so much visceral. Me too, right? Like I get viscerally angry when my technology doesn't work. Where I'm like, bruh, come on, come on, transistors, just like do your gerbs. Do the gerb. Oh, Doc, please do share. Please do jokes to you guys. If you ever stop eating the junk food, you won't feel crappy. Lol. We can manifest Viking Candace. I have chocolate melting questions. I prefer pie over cake for my birthday. I'll settle for cheesecake. I'm a big cheesecake dude myself. For me, pecan pie. Yo, pecan pie, so nice. Sam, I want to melt chocolate over Pringles. Wavy potato chips to make the break. I want to use white chocolate. Is there a kind that melts or easier to work with? I think it's just how you heat it, right? With chocolate, that's the biggest thing, right? You don't want to heat it on direct heat. You want to like do double boiling kind of things. But I think most chocolate likes melting. That's kind of like what it's meant to do. Hello, Peppies. Scratch, 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 scratch. Okay, let's see if we can soon. My instinct says that Pringles would be too brittle to survive the process. But if you wanted to try, I'd start with Gir- Ghirardelli melting chips and a little bit of coconut oil to thin it out. It's good advice. Natalie, I have been of the mind you can have treats and such, but keep the body moving and burning. Besides, kids are food burning furnaces. Oh yes. Like I was thinking about this last night, being in the state of like consuming again. And I was like reflecting, just thinking about how much I've consumed my entire life. If I could like visualize as like a ball of energy. Hey, Heather is here as well. Like a ball of energy. How much of that ball of energy is like being dragged along with me at this point? Like how much is there in comparison to the shape that I take up right now? It's a little bit absurd. We eat so much during our lives. I hate that programming. It's so hard to overcome. It is. It is possible though, right? It is possible. It's just like painstaking. So painstaking. Like you're gonna have to deprogram yourself pretty much, I believe, for as long as it took you to program yourself. Right. So if you've been in a state of mind and it took you 10, 20, 30, 40 years to get to that point, be okay with. Not saying it will necessarily take that long, but be okay with it taking that long to unprogram that kind of behavior. And then just show up one day at a time, little by little. This after school vid, those after school vids are always interesting. They are offering good wisdom, offering perspective, allowing teachers to do even more to teach their message. The programming, Sam. So melt chocolate, add coconut oil. Yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking about food addiction. Exactly, Alex. It's a big one for me, right? It is, I think, like the biggest thing. Like food addiction seems to be the one thing I have more trouble with than anything. And like I can see, as I'm thinking about this, how even as a kid, like I remember specifically as like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, I got chicken pox, and then I was home alone, kind of like isolated, and I was playing PlayStation 2, uh, either Jack and Dexter or the Cars game. We had the Cars game. And I just remember the state of being, like avoiding this discomfort of my entire being itching, being told you're not supposed to scratch yourself because if you pop those things, they leave scars inside your flesh. And I'm like, bro, I don't want scars inside my flesh. Why is my body doing this to me? I'm uncomfortable. I'm gonna eat something. And then I eat something. And then the things I'm eating becomes eaten. right? And it happens to the point where you don't even notice. Like you'll have like X amount of food, and then before you notice, it's gone, and you're like, was that me? Like I've had moments where I literally look around where I'm like, did I drop one of the things I was supposed to be eating? And then I go again, right? Kind of like trying to escape, the sheer amount of input that is ceaselessly happening into our brains by giving it something that it can process, sweetness, just a sense of, yes, nice, this is good, at least for now. Yeah, this is so good, so good, nice. It's easy to process, right? Much easier to process than the sheer amount of stuff inside our essences, right? But it is valuable to learn how to deal with these things. Mm, no, she's a few hours behind between. I see there's something to bother her before feeding her. Trying not to just let her eat her feelings. She's not tired or bored. Yeah, I get you. I'm not saying you're doing that, Corey. I'm just offering this as a perspective, right? Trying to imagine how we can help our kids from a young age to form healthy relationships with food, right? And I don't think it's my parents' fault. Like that's the thing for me as well. Like in fact, take full responsibility for it being my fault. You know, I feel a lot all the time, and it's hard sometimes. And I don't think we really get taught how to properly deal with our emotional state. We get told how to generate value, you know, how to follow instructions, how to do the next thing, how to make money. At least, by some sort of extreme, being conditioned into being a factory worker, essentially. But we don't get told how to add value to our own lives, how to add value onto the things that we're okay with. I had a moment last night where I had to just sit and reaffirm, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And it's like I couldn't believe it. And then I had to be like, again, I forgive myself. You are valuable. You're a friend. More than you know. Cool. Thank you for the direction. Thank you for asking, Brother Bear. It's hard, man. I come from a generational eat your feelings. Duckling totally does it on her own, never learning it. We don't have to learn it. We don't have to learn it. That's the joke, right? It's like it's easy. It's like a path of least resistance kind of thing for me, right? Being lean, right? And I think of the word lean not necessarily from a perspective of being aesthetic, but very much from a perspective of being content, right? Enough. Like, what is enough, right? Again, value and enough. These things kind of like go in the same kind of, parallels. And it's hard. It's so hard to not eat our feelings, even as a child. The amount of input. And then I end up eating freaking mushrooms. Like was what I did to myself today after like the brain damage I got yesterday, full of the sugar I ate. I was like, I need to eat some mushrooms to unbrain damage myself, I say to myself. And then the mushrooms are like, oh, oh, hello, it says to my cells. I see you're all fucked up. And my cells are like, yeah, this dude is insane, dude. Teach him a lesson. And they're like, oh, fucking kicking my ass. And I'm like, oh, please, please have mercy. Have mercy. Yeah. Information. Everything technically is but a type of information, you know. We just have to figure out what information we value more so than others. And there's so much information, that it's easy to get lost in all of the different fractals. Also, EV. I'm gonna skip the chocolate stuff. I can totally melt it in a microwave. You can. If you pop in for 10 seconds, it's true. I appreciate everyone checking out Melt today. So much love to you, Natalie. And I love the outfits. Now I imagine autumn. Yeah, it is. Like I for some reason, I knew that this was the combination I had to wear today. And then a part of me was like fighting it. It was like, nah, I want to wear it. And I was like, bro, like wear the green or with the red. It's the way it's supposed to be. I haven't taken a photo for the flower today just yet. I'm probably gonna use my light to make sure that I can get a good one. I like making my works of art. I'm curious to see how today is gonna turn out. It is day 9, so it's gonna be a 9 geometry flower, so it might be a little bit muddled with the amount of stuff that is going to try and incorporate. Sam, no, bro. Melt. I make an amazing pecan pie. If you ever get to the States, I'll have pecan pie. Send PK, send me some of his area's homegrown pecans, and make you a pie of your dreams. Brother Bear, that's a tall order. Oh, like I'm a mama's boy, as you friends know. Like, first and foremost, my mom, loving her to death, loving her to life. And then Mama Gaia, of course. And my mom's pecan pie is like so bomb that like she's ruined a bunch of things in life for me, like gingerbread biscuits as well. Like if someone offers me gingerbread biscuits, I can visually determine those are not going to be nearly as tasty as my mom's ginger biscuits. So no thank you. Right? So there's a part of me that eats, from a sense of appreciation, familiarity as well. I'm looking forward to it with the bear. I'm sure it's going to be great. Corey, I hear that, Doc. Food was how my family dealt with things. That, or just deal with it and bottle it up. Yeah. Or don't deal with it and bottle it up. People wonder why they have mental health issues. And those mental health issues, I believe, bleed into our bodies. Right? Our organs start falling apart if our mental state isn't, adequate as well. No shell. Did it explode? I hope not. I missed something. That was true. Doug, I love pecan pie. You should look up butter tarts if you had them. I like how we're trying to get past food addictions and we're like food addictioning in chat. Or I wonder where did all of the food go? Because I didn't even remember enjoying eating it, right, Alex? Isn't that horrible? That's like the thing that's so horrible about, food addiction for me, where you're like you eat everything and you cannot even appreciate the fact that you were supposed to enjoy it, right? That it was supposed to be an enjoyable experience. You're just left after the fact from a like and loss. Like you feel like you lost something having just eaten everything. And that sucks. That sucks so much. Like I didn't lose anything. I just gained, 500 extra calories, and then your body is still, oh wait, let's do it again. This can happen in large batches. I only use the nuke trick for small bits. The 2 chicken pox scars on my forehead I used to really bother me. Now it's just my third eye. I think I have one as well. There. You see that little dude? That's my little chicken pox scar. And yeah, doesn't make me any less. Right. I don't like the fact that I have skin sometimes. All of my scars. I have what do you call it? Freckles. Right. I have these bunch of little black spots as the sun hits me. And like kids are mean. They would make these jokes about uh, me having a sieve, holding a sieve up, and then someone throwing shit at me, and me trying to block the shit being thrown at me with a sieve, and then getting all of these sprinkles of like brown color on my skin. And I'm like, bruh, why would you do that to me? Oh, I'm an 8-year-old. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, fucking. Kids are horrible sometimes. Oh goodness. And you know what the worst part is? Those kids probably heard that shit from their parents. It's like generational brain damage that people for some reason pass on instead of letting melt away. I know, Melty. I appreciate that thought. It's easy to fall into a pattern. So easy. I missed you all. It's nice seeing you, Heather. Sorry I've been distant. I've been taking me longer than I expected to get caught back up. After a month of nothing but illness, tech has to take a back seat. How's everyone? Get better, dear friend. The space is always here for you, right? And we will welcome you back even if you take years, decades off. We will still welcome you back lovingly. To fall into a pattern of giving food because it works the fastest, but having that reminder is helpful. Thank you, Brother Bear. Thank you for being willing to, receive that perspective without it being like an attack or something. I appreciate your maturity in that as well. Thank you for being valuable with us, Mal. Thank you, Kristen, for adding value to my life, dear friend, in so many ways. Missing food, misusing food is a problem for me too. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for growing on yours as well, dear friend. Consciously evolving, right? That is what these streams are to us, I want to say. To me, definitely, but to us. Like, this is conscious evolution is happening right now. All of this stuff happening in your head, all of this, that's consciously evolving, right? That is you moving towards the higher version of yourself. We totally don't get to talk. We totally don't get taught how to deal with our emotional state. I have to read books that were geared directly towards my child and said, holy shit, I have feelings. Oh, wow. All of this depth that I wasn't allowed to even explore as a child. This is important, Doug. Doug, I wasn't told that my feelings matter and that my emotions are valid until last year from Peach. I never realized how much it meant to her to hear that until she said it, it made me cry. Because for the first time in my life, I felt like I could actually feel my emotions without feeling guilty or being told to get over it or too bad or tough. Yeah, how about that? Like this conditioning as masculine entities as well. And I feel I'm talking from this perspective because I happen to be a masculine entity, but it's pretty much the same thing for all of us, where we're only taught basically two emotions: anger, right? Outrage, or happy, right? And those are the only two emotions we're allowed to feel. And anger is something that shouldn't be seen, isn't tolerated, and happy is the thing you're expected to be. You should be happy. Oh, what do you have to complain about, little child? You have food to eat, you have a place to sleep, you should be happy, Never mind the emotional side of how we feel when it comes to trying to connect with our family members, how we feel in the society we're expected to participate in. It's a duality, when emotionality is a full spectrum, an infinity, right? Sure, dual, right? Love or fear, right? Those in my mind, those are the two the two dualities in these experiences. Fear in my mind can lead to sadness. Sadness leads to me at least in anger. So it's like those are on that side of the spectrum. And then love, allows for senses of joy, spirits of upliftment. But there is so much in between, melancholy, contemplation. Contemplation to me feels balanced, where I'm not happy and I'm not sad. And I find myself in that contemplative state a lot in these streams. And it's like you friends, because of how much of us there are, because of the more aspect of melt more, right? That Dega symbol. There's like a balance that gets reached, an equilibrium, and then I'm trying to channel whatever the energy is that's kind of flowing through this moment at any point in time. And it can be a lot sometimes, but that's what we're here to do, right? Like it's like we're becoming something new as humanity through the internet. Like we were never supposed to meet one another, right? Technically speaking, we're thousands of miles away from one another. We live different lives. We have different kind of like priorities. We value probably different things from a selfish perspective. And yet we found one another despite all of it. Despite all of it, we actually found one another. I'm so proud of you, friends. Thank you for coming back here over and over again, for growing with me in the way that you do. Bad philosophy. Our health is judged. Batch philosophy. Our health is judged by our happiness. I believe this. And your remedies have helped so much, Shan. Like, I take them almost from a perspective of ritualistically at this point, where like, and I'm trying to imagine my cells being like, what the fuck's this guy doing? Where I like drop some of your drops on my tongue, and then I go, and my cells being like, what's this guy doing? I bet Mama Meld has a mean set of skills. She does. I have been trained by 2 generations of moms, so I think I'll be stepping into the ring. Doctor being like, yeah, new fighter has entered. Do people not have freckles in South Africa? It's not common. It's not common. Yeah, and people are mean. Having freckles is something that people didn't accept of me as well. So having freckles is attached. Have part black skin, like, look, there's like spot. So that therefore you're less than. I'm like, oh, am I? How about all of us are fucking human beings? We feel things. We have hopes and dreams. We love our families. We love our pets. There is no separation, you stupid motherfuckers. And I got so like I'm still I can see the visceral rage in like my childhood self. Fucking people being stupid, yo. So much stupidity. So much stupidity. Oh, and it doesn't stop. The stupidity continues. This is one of those that I wish I had. I have chickenpox scars on my head, not the face one. Sorry, but true. I have chickenpox scars on my head, not the face one. Sorry, but true. Like on your head, like here. I remember allowing myself to scratch my scalp when I had chickenpox. So I probably have like a bunch of scars on my scalp from the damage I did, but I've never shaved my head, so I don't know. Maybe one day I'll figure out or see how much damage I've done. Seeing Kristen react to the duality, right? Either happy or angry. And don't express anger, only be happy, right? Communicating a duality and then expect you to be only one of the sides. Oh, Corey, you deserve to have all your feels acknowledged. Please squeeze the fruit for me. At least, she has a dad who is allowing himself these experiences as he's raising his child as well, allowing hers the same. Alex saying, especially how we feel when our need to connect with family is being rejected because they're unable to truly connect. That's why I fear rejection so much. I fear rejection as much as I do from a perspective of being vulnerable enough to share everything I am and still being denied, right? Like showing someone all of who I am, them seeing that, and then making a decision to not come back, right? To not connect again. And it's weird that I decided to do this, having that as a trauma in myself, and yet it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Consciously evolving, slowly but surely. It is a process, and it's a difficult one, unfortunately. You friends have shown me love in ways I couldn't have imagined, and I thank you for that. It wasn't just there. I had a very bad case of chickenpox, like over 85% of my body. I don't know what my percentage was, but it was bad for me as well. Oh geez, I'm sorry for your kid's self. That has to be awful, Doc. I can only imagine. She's having a nap on top of me right now, so I'll give her a squeeze for you. And a few more for the rest of you. Sending you lovin's, dude. Doc, shout out to Kristen. I think I blocked it out. I really only remember one particular doctor's visit. Guess Doc's brain was like, just erase all of this, yeah. not something that you really want to remember. It's interesting how we how we forget. There's so much energy again happening in the space right now. I don't know if you can hear the birds. Those birds are called katlachters. There's some behind me as well. Cat laughers. They laugh at the cats making those sounds. I totally understand, Mel. I know you do, dear Shan. Trippy that we have the same chicken spot, right? Alex, I feared rejection all day yesterday, intermittently, and I know that is me projecting my insecurities on my friends, and it's not real. I do get rejection sometimes, but more frequently in my mind. Yeah. It's been a hard one for me too with my friends as of late. Like, Julian is angry at me for some reason. And he communicated that anger at me yesterday. It's probably part of the reason I ended up eating. Noticing the pattern of like, step one, feel emotionally hurt. Step two, eat. Not letting ourselves be emotionally hurt, is easier said than done. Can I ask of you, would you rather have a bad day, emotional, maybe sad, or a mediocre day, so, when you struggle to grasp hold of what you're feeling or why? Good question, Heather. And the way I feel about it is I don't scrutinize. Is that the right word? I like all of them, even the days where I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling. It's uncomfortable. It's always uncomfortable. But I never feel like this shouldn't be, where that's when I notice I'm suffering. As soon as I start wishing that, yeah, I shouldn't be feeling this way, that's where suffering arises for me, at least. I'm gonna do something quickly. This on this side, and then we'll fire my razor. Yeah, 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 yeah. A little bit better, right? I still got no shadow, but it's fine. There we go. Back again. The value we gain in feeling bad sometimes. That you can learn so much about yourself, about your capacity to deal with things. Even retrospectively and negatively, right? Having gone through this whole experience where we potentially did things that we know doesn't serve our bodies, that bad experience still allows you to grow within the self. And I believe that's what's valuable at the end of the day, not necessarily what you feel. I had a chicken pox at birth. So many scars. So no scars or memory. But my first weeks were apparently unpleasant for everyone. Oh, just like a little baby screaming at the top of his lungs, uncomfortable, trying to communicate its discomfort, trying to escape its discomfort with being embodied, stuck in flesh, being like, bruh, consciousness being like, bruh, why the fuck is my entire body suckage right now? Why is this happening to me? Ah, 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 being a baby. That hasn't changed. I'm still baby. I'm still very much baby. I'm noticing. I'm noticing the fractals. I forgot to tell you. I met a crazy puppy named Lucy. Of course you did. Told the owner about going full Lucy. She's going to say that every time she has the zoomies. Yes. She just went full Lucy. I'm happy that you're sharing the fractals, Brother Bear. Shell, I'm dreading the day Duckling gets chicken with all of her sensory issues just to the touch or the tag. I can't even imagine. Hopefully, by the time, Duckling is grown up, she doesn't have to get it ever. Hopefully, we've kind of like, dismantled that sickness as well. This hurts, Melt. It is a trauma. You're loved, S-Rock. It is. And I feel a lot of us have that, right? Feeling unworthy of connection, even with the people that we feel are the only ones we can connect to. It's hard. It's hard to be in that state, all right, because it convinces us, at least in some way, that we're the ones at fault. That the reason we're not getting the amount of attention we should be getting is because we're unworthy of it, right? Oh, I am not getting love because I am not worthy of love. Is not true. Your family was just stuck in their own little worlds, stuck in their own story, stuck in their own ego, stuck in their own selfish need to fill something, right? To facilitate this experience. Let's add some more warmth to this light. Yeah, it's a little bit better, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Isn't she vaxxed against the pox? Got an early shot now since 1996. Still time duck. Still, like your head up there? Nope. Lower. Confused. My bird. The birds are awesomely talkative. They are. There's like a whole little family of birds there having a conversation right now as well. The fear, not the deer. Did I miss something? Same shell. The only fear that's eating us is the anxiety that a bad experience will repeat itself. Suffering more in mind than in actuality, right? At the end of the day. So much suffering that we end up inducing onto ourselves over and over again. The birds are laughing at us. They're being like, these freaking human beings, right? Like, we're just trying to survive out here, trying to get enough food to eat right now so we can see tomorrow. And these beings have so much food that they end up eating themselves into unsatisfaction and disease, hell, like a lack of health. Stop laughing at me, birds! You can't. Don't be rude. Oh, I'm suffering here. It's like, yeah, oh, you're suffering because you don't realize that you're doing it to yourself. I'm telling you right now, it's stirred up. Love is true. Casey, I don't know about your opinion on your question. I'm curious as well. Let's see if she's willing to tell us. I used to fear rejection. They're all gonna laugh at you, Adam Sandler. I used to fear rejection, says Doc Dad. I was so rejected that I just stopped trying. I just remain in my state and expect nothing of others. Probably why it feels so strange to be complimented. I've been in that state as well as of late, right? Non expectation. And I don't know if it's a bad thing necessarily, Brother Bear, right? Kind of like suspending our expectations of others, at least in my experience, has been beneficial, at least in some ways, right? Like as I suspend my expectations, I'm allowed more calm. Unfortunately, also sometimes, what's the word I'm looking for? Indifference. There we go. Sometimes I'm indifferent as well, but it's a process, as all things are. What? New generation vaccines means kids don't get chickenpox anymore? I do believe so. At least that's the point. No, not the Adam Sandler fractal. My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Grandma's Boy, mostly because he's not in it. Is that true? Isn't he in Grandma's Boy? That's the one where he's like a football player and people insult his mother, right? And then he gets super angry and then he like destroys people. Am I getting my lines crossed? The topic of unworthiness is a big one to unpack. It is. Because like the thing is, we're little scientists as babies, as children. Every single one of us. Hey, Untitled. It's nice seeing your name, dear friend. We're little scientists, coming into this world. And then we try and like sample from this experience, what we're supposed to believe about ourselves and about the ones that we spend time with. And then as we're sampling, we see how these people who are the only ones we know, right? The only people we can expect love from, not loving us, right? And then we're like, huh. So the one person, right? My caretaker, my family member, my sibling, the one person who probably would love me, doesn't. So what does that say about me, right? And then if, unfortunately, we don't ask questions, we don't get clarity, and like that's a part of my autism. I do believe I'm kind of autistic, like the amount of literality that I take of things. And if people don't communicate properly with me, I don't understand, right? Like I can be intuitive, but sometimes, I need to be communicated at. Like I'm only partially a mind reader. I can read like the nuance, but I can't read the I can't read the line. Is that what you said? Like, your friends are like, yeah, yeah, makes perfect sense. Are we insane right now? Yeah, communicate properly, dear friends, and gather evidence for how loved you are, not for how unworthy of love you are. Because you'll gather evidence for the thing you choose to gather evidence for, and it's a choice. But sometimes we don't know that we have a choice, right? We can get caught in a fractal. It can become familiar to feel bad, and then we can be like, oh well, I feel bad, this is how I feel, and I know how to feel bad, so I'm gonna feel bad. And then we feel bad, and then we're like, ah, yes, familiarity. In the same way, as eating, it's a familiar thing. It's easy to understand how you're supposed to feel when you're eating something. It's easy to know how you're supposed to feel when you feel bad about something. It's not easy to know how you're supposed to feel when you're working to better something, right? Because you can be sad if things get better, weirdly enough. I've been sad to realize how loved I am, right? Which is paradoxical in and of itself sometimes. Y'all want to work on your rejection muscles, download a couple of dating apps, get to work. So much rejection from people who could have given the elephant man a run for his money. So that's so true. Yes, connection or attachment issues from childhood seem to leave a permanent mark, or it takes so much work to figure out how to compensate for it. It's deprogramming and then reprogramming, right? Like you're gonna have to like go into your own mind and like weed things out, literally pull things out and try and make new connections. And it's a day by day thing, trying to make those connections. This is a making of a connection, you making yourself a good meal, a wholesome meal today is a good connection. You exercising today is a good connection. You reaching out to one of your family members you haven't talked to in a while is a good connection, right? And that's how we gather evidence for how loved we are. I'm not sure, Shell. My instinct is to say that anything would trump sadness, but in reality, melancholy almost feels more torturous and at times moves slow. Yeah. It's almost like because melancholy is so it takes longer for it to go through its entire flow before there is any conclusion to it. As rock, some of us have been focused on this, especially if you want two resources that have made me heal. I've made my healing journey fulfilling is Patrick Tihan and Crappy Childhood Fairy. Such beautiful names as well. Time moves slow with sadness or grief as well, but with healing and introspection, it doesn't feel wasted at the end of it all. There is growth. There is active growth, consciously evolving. I am consciously evolving. Yes, Shell, I've been listening to their stuffs on YouTube because of your posts. So much to digest and absorb. Thank you for being willing to go there. That's why I'll take both. KC, I used to fear both, but now I can handle that space better and find something to do with that energy. This is the way. When I mention my isms, is generally referring to my autistic tendencies. Too much of certain sounds is highly overwhelming to me. Maybe that's why I like wearing earmuffs at work. Do so. Right? If you need to do something to ensure you continue doing something, right? If you need to show up in this world in a certain way so that you can show up in this world in a certain way, then there's nothing wrong with that. Celebrate yourself. It is okay to celebrate yourself. Okay, we're getting close to the end of stream. When I realized how loved I was and actually accepted by my class, I had a crying crisis and I had to leave. But there were other things involved too. That's why I cried. your class accepted you. Like, you mean during school, Alex? I'm so happy you got to experience that. It's like interesting. It's like I'm still trying to untrauma myself, in so many ways of like my school experience because I never got to have that acceptance from my peers. Still to this day, you know. And weirdly enough, I feel the need to reach out to some of the people I was mean to. And I wasn't mean that much, to be completely honest. It's like the things I want to apologize for are like slivers of meanness to the big bowls of mud of meanness that got thrown at me, as a child. And still, I feel this feeling of like wanting to reach out to some of the people that I was mean to as a child. Sorry if I'm redundant. It's okay, dear friend. When I realized love is true. Corey, I have earplugs designed to dampen sound just for that reason. I too have some of those, like little earplugs that have this like noise filter in it. I try to wear them in stream, but it ends up cutting so much information out that I feel, again, like I'm doing something wrong or something is wrong. They still let sound through, but much quieter and less harsh. Not at all. Love is true. Dude, when I was trying to talk to the city the other day, she kept talking. And all of these generalities, like she was trying to say something different. She was getting frustrated for me asking. I was like, I'm very literal. I was like, I'm autistic. I'm very literal. And I'm really having a hard with what you're trying to tell me right now. Can you please just be direct? Exactly. Like, just tell me how it is, right? Tell me directly what it is you're saying so I can understand, right? I'm confused and I don't like being confused. And being confused leads me to a state of anxiety, and that state of anxiety can lead to me being an asshole. So please give me some clarity so we can be clear about what the fuck's going on right now. Is that too much to ask? There we go. That's a little bit better. Not too bright anymore. Karo, I've seen those. I should get a pair when I'm in a noisy place. But at the same time, my hearing is important to me in public spaces. Ninja senses for people speaking up in me. Just me being slightly paranoid, socially anxious, which causes me to be not on edge, but ready to react to things that'll never happen. Yeah, dad mode. Dad mode has been activated. As soon as you become a dad, dad mode activates, unfortunately. And now suddenly the way you consider reality is drastically changed. And that is okay. I'm gonna play some kalimba, then we're gonna pull a card, and then we're gonna say goodbye for today. And we'll have the sangha very soon. was 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Just blasted right past me. I was like in shock to hear the alarm go off for a second. I'm a pretty direct person, same, and it can be a little bit jarring for some as well, you know. But I'm also of the mindset like the analogy I use is the wieltje wat raast krijgt olie. That's our saying. Like the wheel that makes noise gets grease. Right? So the closed mouths don't get fed. So I think it's just better to say what you mean and ask for what you want. Exactly. Dad mode is something else. I can hear the cat walks into the room when I'm sleeping. Damn biology. Laser focus mode, right? And how do you control for that amount of energy? Is the thing that I usually go to. I don't think you're supposed to control for it, just to try and channel it, into something good. Also explains why our dads can be so uptight and a lot dickheads sometimes. Sorry, I shouldn't say stuff like that. Brother, 38 years old, still trying to accept it, still trying to be accepted by my peers, probably because I don't feel I have any. We got you, big guy. Corey, my family jokes, but I can hear a mouse fart down in the basement from the upstairs pop into action before the most leopards. I was on running on adrenaline 90% of the time before the bad remedies, compounded by dearest Shan. Then, after the adrenaline was gone, I was exhausted for several days without that hormone. I rested and streamed. Joy, I love the sound of your voice. I love your directness. I have it sampled in my brain. Same. And there was like a moment of intensity reached in these streams where some friends were being hurt, you know, by our beloved Joy Vive's directness. And there was like, and I was like, yeah, that's who Joy Vive is. Joy Vive can be contrary. That doesn't make her any less worthy of love. That doesn't mean she's not deserving of this space as well. I love you, friends, so much. You're very appreciated, Joy. You're such a cool cat. Yeah, I said it. A cool cat. The funny part is, it feels like my neurodiversity communicates better than those without. Communication is live. Communication is live or die, because one thing can be very much another. It's true. Shell, it makes me so happy to hear remedies. It makes me tear up every time you and anyone tell me how much they have improved their lives. It really has, Shan. Like, I do believe you have something here, and I'm still like, I want to help Shan, have like a whole little brand of her own, and I want to make her like some psychedelic flowers that she can write within. But I'm like, I want it to be perfect, as we do it, especially since it's yours, Shan. Something that I want to do for you. I believe you're going to help so many more people. It's just a matter of time. I'll have to buy some remedies off you when I get paid next. Thank you, Brother Corey. Reach out to her. Like, this is Shan's business starting up now as well. I'm here for card time. Yeah, John is still here. Be happy to have a consultation with you, Corey. Please do reach out. This is the card for today. Want to hedge your bets? What card is it gonna be? It's a good one. It's gonna happen now. I see it. We're gonna do it. It's already happening in the future. Shan, I want to was it yesterday's? Day before that day's poem? Yesterday's poem. Let me read yesterday's poem. Right. Like, I have a few friends, as you friends know, all of you friends, who are actively building on their dreams, in one way or another. And I know it's hard, right? Being in that fractal myself as well. And I feel the nice thing about us as a community is the amount of love we have for one another and the amount of energy we try to contribute to each other's lives. You want to see the card? No. Put it away for a second. We're gonna look at the flower first. This is yesterday's flower. Hey, Louisiana, made it in time for the card. Yes, you did. This is yesterday's flower. And then I just want to share this, right? How do we win? Chasing cars, money, and stuff will never be enough. The only winning is love. To have a moment where you can be yourself. The only winning is love. After we die, everything we gather goes away. The only winning is love. The moment we share with the people for whom we care. The only winning is love. Seeing a friend succeed, their whole world made better. The only winning is love. Having to repeat it over and over again. The only winning is love. We all want the same thing for the world. Love wins overall. Whew! And then the card we pulled. The freedom of love. Hot diggity damn. Joe Biden, this is the way. You are the way, dear friend. You are that which is valuable. The only winning is love, dear friends. Seeing each other succeed, right? Happily wanting each other to succeed. Because the only winning is love. There's no winning in one of us, getting things and the rest of us not having the things anymore. The only winning is love. The freedom of love, of course. Of course, this is the card we pulled today. I did pull it upside down. Stop making me cry. I'm trying to get myself ready. No. No, get melted. Okay, card number 30. Damn. The reverse meaning goes, separation is a false story that history has handed you. Open your heart and let universal love fly in. One more. Committed to your brain. An angel. Heart energy. This is one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. It's so beautiful. Makes me think about my psychedelic flowers as well in part. Whew! The stellated dodecahedron is associated with unity consciousness or Christ consciousness. So, just to interrupt myself, I know the word Christ has like so much trauma attached to it as well. The way I think of it, and this is like in biblical terms as well, they called Jesus the Christ, right? Like he had Christed energy. And what I believe is this Christed energy is when consciousness arises from infinity, right? And you are that. You are the arising of consciousness. Are you conscious right now? When you look down, you see hands and you see your world, right? There's a consciousness there. That is Christ consciousness. You have Christ consciousness. You are the Christ just as much as everything else is. With that said, combined with golden spiral hearts, this card creates a matrix through which we can realize that through which we can realize that when we live in integrity and with heart energy, there is true freedom. Our journey of evolution is our journey towards unity consciousness. What do we call these streams? Conscious evolutions. Our journey of evolution is our journey towards unity consciousness, to melting into unity, right? Meditate with this image and feel into your connection to divine oneness and universal love. Visualize yourself as a part of every particle of energy in creation. Sacred geometry affirms our oneness and provides us with a language to better understand our place in it all. Love is the key that unlocks this language and helps us more fully realize our divinity. Freedom is the force that offers us an opportunity to realize an expanded view of our humanness and our place in the cosmic order. Take this experience into your heart and see it as sprouting wings. See yourself flying on the wings of universal love and experiencing the freedom of knowing you are never separate, but are truly an integral part of the divine order. Hot damn. You, dear friend, are an integral part to the divine order. That there is a divine order happening here, right? The fact that you embody, the fact that you have fingies, right? The fact that you have eyeballs, the fact that you have ears, and ability to taste things, the ability to fathom at all. There's order in that kind of like experience, right? There's order in this experience. Like there's order in a tree treeing as itself. And you are a part of that divine order, integral to it, part and parcel to the infinity. There is no separating you from it. You are not a separate. You're not. It can feel that way. History, especially, can convince us of how separate we are. Oh, yeah, look at all of this, exploitation. Look at all of this, etc., etc. I'm not even going to, give it power by saying it. Unity consciousness. We are oneness. Sure, experiencing oneness through multiplicity, but still the same thing. Conscious being. Stop making me cry. We insist on each other's success, yo. Yes. No, not succeeding. Coming of the Cosmic Christ, Matthew Fox, and more. Have you seen The Cosmic Christ by Alex Gray? Hey Google. Hey Google. Can you show me Cosmic Christ by Alex Gray? No, not Cosmic Rays. Ray. So Alex Gray painted our beloved Terence McKenna as the Cosmic Christ. Let me show you. This is one of my favorite works of art. It's a lot, but it's beautiful. Like in each one of these little pockets, there's like gang information that's kind of like being melted away right now. A bit ye awakening. What's happening? How's this happening? Why is that You are it, dear friends. There is no separating yourself. Part and parcel to the infinity that is you. This experience, it's a lot sometimes. Please continue. I'll DM you on Discord. Shell, I just scrolled back a bit and saw your recommendations by Patrick D. Hun and Child to Scrappy Fairy. I discovered that both of them just within the last year. They are both so good. Teachers coming into this world right now. Oh shiznit, I have like 4 minutes left before the Sangha starts. So much value in this space. We all have severe fractals of wisdom to offer. Love is true. Have the most beautiful day, everyone. I sincerely love you all. So, very, very, super gigantically, enormously, astronomically, dearly. Melt on all of you absolutely beautiful and wonderfully, amazingly friends. As we love you, dear Shan. Thank you, friends, for joining me. If you want to, I'll see you again soon, in like a moment from now. Blessings to you. Until tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Cheers, cheers.